victim.
I'm not cheating you into anything, I guess. Sorry.
And then I remember being in a class and someone said, if you don't have a tape recorder and you don't have any way to write it, just write that quote in the palm of your hand or run to the bathroom and do it and look your clean. So, and then now I also, truthfully understand, too, that there's no such thing as an objective observer.
The acting job that began as a way to make money for tuition quickly became something more.
I wrote a whole paper about auditioning for it. I wasn't so in the drama of getting the part. I was more interested in writing about getting the part or just auditioning for a part.
Well, it sounds then like you almost aren't that vested in it. If it was something you were just kind of doing,
well,
and you can't...
Yeah, I wasn't for a long time. And then I started, the more you do it, the more interested you get in it.
And soap fans got more interested in Meg.
She wasn't cast because she was, Meryl Streep in the making. She was cast because she was a Meg Ryan in the making. And it was interesting to watch her grow. And for the next 2 years, that's what America did.
There was a time when I used to think that no matter if you felt something, if you really felt it strongly, then there's no way it could be wrong. Things really aren't so simple. You gotta think about the consequences of what you do rather than just what you want.
And about a year in, I started kind of disagreeing with the directors, and I all of a sudden had opinions about things. I started caring about things I hadn't before.
She would read the scripts and say, I can't be this stupid, no one's this naive, but she would do it with great aplomb.
I played a character who was like somebody that you should not have around too much. She was like the ultimate victim. She had everything wrong with her. And my name in the thing was Betsy Stewart Montgomery Andropoulos, which just goes to show you how many times I was married.
After 2 years, Meg decided it was time for a change.
When did you decide to come from New York to L.A. to pursue acting?
That's also embarrassing, I just have to say. But I finished on the soap opera, and then I said, that's it, I'm going to, I thought that I was just going to go to Europe and just travel around the world for a really long time, and I did that for a while. And then I got home, and I thought, okay, I'll just do some commercials or something, and then I got another gig in L.A. So I ended up leaving and going to L.A. and doing this gig on a television show.
What show?
And it was called Wild Side. It was like a Western A-Team. I don't know if you remember the show, Jules, but I was on there.
Did you wear a prairie skirt?
I did, and really, really short hair, and I was a reporter.
In the Old West?
In the Old West. Yeah.
That sounds
really
great.
Authentic. It was great. You should get some of those tapes.
Well, Meg, we thought we'd oblige.
My father used to say that the 3 primary colors of grief are despair, pain, and anger. But that it's the nature of crystals to scatter light, so that in all of our grief there are other spectrums, there are other colors. Like the color courage, color strength, color love, triumph of physics over sadness.
The man had a nice way with words.
He said them to me when my mother died. And I've had to say them to myself several times since my father died.
Coming up,
How are you different, and how do you react to it differently than you did when you were first starting out?
I have so many different responses to that because it's a very heightened experience.
and later.
She's got to fake this in front of 50, 60 actors.
Hi, I'm Jules Asner. Welcome back to Revealed. By 1985, 24-year-old Meg Ryan was a working actress. She spent 2 years on a daytime soap, appeared in a feature film, and made several TV appearances. But that year, she landed a role in the big-budget movie Top Gun, and Meg Ryan was suddenly on everyone's radar.
Being sometimes in the center of attention is not something that I ever anticipated.
That's interesting because you would think that most people that would want to be actors or actresses would enjoy it or thrive on it even.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's okay. I mean, it's not a terrible drag. There's a lot of great stuff that goes along with it. It's just I think when you're misunderstood and there's nothing you can really do about that, and you kind of want to stand up and say, this is not what happened, this is not real, but you can't.
Is it something that's always on your mind? Like, do you go through periods of time where you deal with it better than you do other times?
You have to learn a lot of grace and reticence, and it's just a weird position to be in, very weird.
Yeah. How have your feelings about being as famous as you are? Because, I mean, you've really been in the public eye
Yeah.
for a good 15 years, really
Yeah.
steadily. How are you different, and how do you react to it differently than you did when you were first starting out?
Well, I have so many different responses to that, because it's a very heightened experience being famous. Everything is heightened. You move faster, things happen in a more heightened way. I mean, I don't know how to say this right, but I don't like being stuck in one place. I'm not good with routine. There's nothing about stasis that's interesting to me. So in that way, it really has been very satisfying. But, you know, sometimes, for a long time, I think I was very good at denying that I was famous. And I think in the last 10 years, I've developed a really, really sort of overwhelmingly good ability to deflect attention and deflect, and I think that it's sort of been at my expense in my life in a way, because I have a way of disappearing that's useful in a public place but isn't necessarily good in your private world, you know. So it's not at all what I would expect to hear a famous person say, but that's really been my experience.
But it sounds like it's something that you've spent a lot of time thinking about.
Yeah, because it's such a strange karma. It's a strange way to live your life. And I think about it. I kind of think, I don't really think, why me? I just think, what am I to gather from these outrageous experiences? What am I to gather from people, you know, being constantly presented with what people think of me?
After the success of Top Gun, Hollywood executives were thinking, how can I get Meg in my movie? But Ryan was very choosy. She passed up roles in Steel Magnolias, Pretty Woman, and The Silence of the Lambs.
Is there a role you really wanted? Was there ever one that got away?
Yeah, like probably a million of them. Because there's a lot of things I would have liked to have done, and there's a lot of things I still want to do. But I also feel like I'm much more comfortable with this worldview that's about, well, there's plenty for everybody. Like if I started ascribing to that thing where, oh, if she gets it and I don't, and if that one gets it and I don't, then they'll never come around again, and it's not useful, and it's not healthy. So I don't really go there much with that.
When we return, it all becomes clear.
I had a lot of aha experiences during that movie.
And later.
I feel like I had to distance myself a little bit from it, but a lot of it was truly really painful.
1986, while making the film Inner Space, Meg Ryan met actor Dennis Quaid.